Welcome back to the program. Lou and Jackie here.
Good morning.
Being joined by a couple of experts in studio right now from Springer Professional Home Services. Mark Manning and Brennan Nading are here because this is the time of year when a lot of these pests that are outside, Jackie, they want to come and hang out with you on the inside.
Yeah, we all know the temperatures are starting to go down, so a lot of times we're wondering what should we keep an eye out for, or maybe they're already right in our face. So let's talk about the three main pests that people are seeing right now as we're heading into the winter seasons.
Yeah, some of the pests that are really on the move right now, particularly in Iowa right now, are the stink bugs, Asian beetles, and also the boxelder bugs.
Okay, let's talk about the Asian beetles first and foremost.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
So first of all, what do they look like? Which ones are we talking about here?
Well, there's the two that you probably might confuse with each other are the Asian beetle and a ladybug.
Okay.
Right.
One way to tell the difference is the Asian beetle actually has a W marking on its abdomen. You can see it in that picture there up by the head.
Oh, really?
There's that. It looks like a W almost on the abdomen. The Asian beetle was actually introduced as a biocontrol agent in Pennsylvania back in the late 70s. And the problem that comes with any kind of biocontrol is sometimes they don't think far enough ahead to realize that there's not something that's going to control them. And that's exactly what happened with the Asian beetles. Is they got out of hand.
Okay, so what did they bring them in initially to do?
Well, they were brought in to control aphids and other scale insects.
Okay.
So, yep.
So we're not seeing a bunch of cute ladybugs running around. Those are Asian beetles.
Well, there's ladybugs around too,
Oh,
but
they
if
are
you're
around.
seeing them in mass numbers, good chance that it's the
an
Asian beetles.
beetle. And why are these such a pest? Is it because they are coming in
Well, they can
masses?
come in tens of thousands of them.
Really?
Yeah, huge clusters of them. And
what do they do? Do they just because of the bodies themselves, or
Yeah, they've
what's
got
the main problem?
They got a very foul smell.
Oh, they
and,
do?
They can be very disturbing to homeowners because they are trying to get inside when the temperatures are cooling down, and they're more or less a nuisance, and they are capable of biting. It's
Really?
kind of, people can have mild allergic reactions to it, but thing is the biggest thing is the nuisance
I was
part.
going to say, going into an old house that had a bunch of these in it, that first thing I realized was the smell.
Yeah.
There's just like, oof. So this is a pest that we're trying to deal with this time of year. How about another one? What's another one this time of year?
Going back to the brown marmorated stink bug.
We're staying on the smell category.
Right, yeah. So these look like a shield, actually.
They
That's
do
all-
kind of look like they have a
They are,
shield.
yeah. These are the ones here. You see these floating around too,
Yep.
and if you ever stepped on them accidentally, yeah, you know you stepped on them.
Yeah, or if you squish one with your finger.
Yeah,
it's-
that's then your finger stinks too.
that's not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
So they call it marmorated because of the markings around the abdomen and on the legs.
Okay.
The marbling kind of look. They're going to be feeding on fruits and vegetables around your house, but as it gets colder, finding those a lot around your soffit vents because there's warm air coming out of your attic through your soffit vents, so they're congregating around there.
Didn't think about that.
And then they can find openings into your attic, and then once they get into your attic, they can find way down into your living spaces.
Okay.
That's not a good thing.
No.
All right.
And
so
they're just creepy looking. A lot of people. That's
your part. Yeah, they're creepy looking. You don't
yeah,
want
the
creepy.
complaint I get a lot is that they just freak the homeowners out.
creepy out, and
Yeah.
we're going back to that stink factor.
Yep.
That's not fun as well. All right, so we have a third one we're kind of keeping an eye on in the winter season.
Because these just are popping up. We were just talking about this last week, going, no, you what I haven't seen around lately, and lo and behold, we get cooler temperatures, sun comes out, and what shows up?
Lou's favorite insect, the boxelder bug.
Boxelder, but
Yep.
these things are such a pain.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a place where they breed them near my house or something, but they are everywhere.
Yeah, no, boxelder bugs are typically on boxelder trees, ash trees, and also maple trees. And
I'll bet you that's it. There's a lot of maple trees in there.
what color is your house, Lou?
Brown.
Okay, I was gonna say they do tend to show up at the lighter colored homes.
Okay.
A lot of the times on the south and southwest sides of the
I
house.
was going to say, mainly on the south side of the
Yep.
house is where they are.
Yep, they'll hang out wherever the sun's hitting the most of the day. And once the temperatures, on the cooler mornings, once the temperature rises and that sun's hitting the side of the house and that house is feeling about like 50 degrees, that's when their metabolism really kicks in and they start getting active. So.
Okay. Well, I feel like my mother has a vacuum dedicated just to those particular bugs. But in
Yep.
case that's not the method that you want to use to actually get rid of them around your household, I bet you guys have some great tips for us.
Well, yeah, the first thing, and with most pest issues, is exclusion, making sure your doors and windows are sealed up, making sure your screens are in in good shape. Other tips, if you've got fruit trees or vegetables, if you remove that, get it cleaned up and get it out of there, you're removing their food source.
Because a lot of times fruit right now is dropped to the ground
Sure.
and it's just kind of hanging out.
Yep, and so that's an easy food source for
The
you.
apple trees especially, they're dropping their fruit now.
Leaf litter around your house, in your window wells, that's harborage for them where they can have moisture and you know, a spot to get away from the cold temperatures.
Okay, so you want to just get rid of the sources that draw them near your home. That is number one. So that's step number one. But what if all these things are in place and, you know, or maybe you didn't get them, all these things removed and they're congregating now? You have the Asian beetles, you have the stink bugs, you have the box elder bugs. What are you guys going to be able to do if I call you and say, we need to get these out of here? What's your next step?
One of the first things that we're going to do is we're actually going to get into and treat your attic space, because a lot of, like Mark was saying, a lot of the insects are drawn to the attic because of the warmth. And a lot of times those air vents that come out by your soffit is where a lot of them enter.
I never even would have thought of that, yeah.
So the first thing we're going to do is inspect and treat your attic, and then we're obviously going through, we're always in the house with a vacuum, cleaning up any kind of dead insects, any live insects, cobwebs, anything of that nature, and then we're doing a treatment also.
Okay,
So.
and how long will the treatment last?
Well, most of our treatments, we're out to most of the houses every other month. Power dusting the attic is something that we only have to typically do once a year.
Now, what does that mean, power dusting?
We actually get up into the attic space, not physically, but we just have to get our power duster and our heads up in there, see what's going on, and when we're going to apply an insecticide dust throughout the attic space. And then once that dust settles in the attic, any insect that crosses through it is in trouble.
Okay, so it just gets into every nook and cranny then, doesn't it?
All the way through the attic space.
Is that anything where the family needs to leave the house?
Absolutely
or not. Because it's just up in the attic?
Absolutely not. It literally takes 10 to 15 seconds and we've got the entire attic treated.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Is that a common place for them to get in? I know you're talking about making sure your screens are secure and things like that so they can't find their way through window spaces, but is the attic kind of...
The attic is probably...
Is that their breeding ground or their hotel or what?
That's where a lot of insects are overwintering. That's where they're surviving through.
Overwintering, is that what you call it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, and you don't even think about it because it's way
I
up
never
there.
would have thought of that, yeah. Because you see them just appearing out of nowhere, and because I thought maybe they were behind the siding or something like that. Does that ever happen or not?
They can. They certainly can. A lot of box elders especially will crawl up underneath the siding, and that's a lot of them will survive on the backside of siding, you know, on the side of your house.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Now,
Doesn't that sound fun?
Now,
Oh, yeah.
we hit the big three. Those are the big three bug-wise that are really going to be a pain, especially with the cooler weather coming, and they're going to try to get into your house, but you can prevent them, again, try to block them from entering your house or get the dusting in your attic. That is brilliant. But there's also another pest that right now, this is the time of year when they're starting to make plans of moving into your house too. What is that?
That is mice.
Mice.
Yep. Farm fields are getting harvested, and the field mice are running, and there's mice outside, and they're getting cold too, so they're trying to find warmth.
Yeah, and they can get in the smallest of opening in your home, can't they?
Yeah, it takes probably less than 1/4 of an inch opening, and they are coming through.
Less than 1/4 of an inch.
So what should we be doing to help protect our homes at this time for that?
Well, for the mice, you just want to make sure everything's sealed up. Go around the house. We're sealing everything up, making sure there ain't any openings for them to get in, because a mouse is running around a house, and what they're doing is they're just running around looking for warm air currents, and when they find a warm air current, they start working a little extra hard to get in.
Now, is that something you guys can do if you come out for an inspection? Can you do a lap around the house and say, okay, here's where you need to fix?
Oh, we'll go ahead and fix it for you.
You'll fix it while you're there.
Unless it's something that's structurally unsound, we're fixing it.
And what do you guys use to plug up those holes?
It kind of depends on each circumstance. Anywhere from steel wool. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and seal it up with a foam gun.
All right,
So.
and then that does the trick.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's perfect. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So we need to call you guys to have you come out, kind of do a lay of the land, see some opportunities that we might have of filling some holes, taking care of some situations around our home, because we don't want to be dealing with this in the middle of winter, probably.
Winter's supposed to be the quiet time.
Okay.
And so get things done before it gets really cold, because once it starts getting really cold, you know, the bug population will probably go down a little bit, but the mice will be even more active, won't they?
The mice will pick up. A lot of the bugs, like I said, if you got to take care of them in the fall, because if you don't, it's going to be twice as bad in the spring.
Okay. Something to think about. And if people want to get in touch with you guys and find out about all the wonderful services that you guys provide and offer, how can they do so?
Website is trustspringer.com. Phone number is 515-262 9229.
That works. Well, thank you, gentlemen. We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Good
Hopefully,
tips
people
this morning.
keep your house pest free, and that's excluding the relatives, of course, this holiday season. We'll be right back, folks. It's 10